So I wanted him to get to really comprehend semantics. That's semantics. Nice. I mean, pleasant, considerate. That's not slang though. Shem is nice, connotatively. He's pleasant. That's not slang. That's not slang. I know. I'm saying. I know. I'm saying. I was trying to get it in a broader perspective. If I had just said slang and then kept it like that, all right, it's more than just slang. It's more than just slang.
So, Shem is nice. Etymologically, it's calling Shem is foolish.
Foolish.
Denotation is saying Shem is, connotation is saying Shem is pleasant.
Pleasant. That's semantics.
That's semantics.
That's semantics. That's semantics. So I didn't want to just limit it to slang.
So that's too. So when someone say currently, oh, that is really nice.
Okay.
You can say, oh, what's foolish about that?
Right.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Right. So I didn't want to limit it to slang because then you wouldn't get the overall concept of it.
Right.
Our people are speaking connotatively every day. So yes.
Yeah,
All right, let me jump to that. So let me give you the difference between Shem. Boss. All right. So before I jump into that, I'm going to explain the argument, the different argument. I'm over here. This is originalist. We should deal with fixed. We should interpret the Constitution based on true and fixed meanings. Counter-argument, constructionist. Well, the Constitution is a living document. Those men are dead. It's 2019. We can't have fixed meanings, no fixed meanings, no fixed and true meanings. We can't focus on fixed meanings. Society changes. Society evolves. We can't be focused, we can't have this closed mindset and interpreting the Constitution. We need to broaden the interpretation so it can have fluidity. It should be fixed. What are you talking about? The Constitution should be interpreted in which if its original intent. Are you aware that you're moving away from the original concept and true meanings? You're moving away from its original intent? What is your motive anyway for this concept of no fixed meanings? Well, as I said before, constructionist, the Constitution is a living document. It's not a dead document. You can't live in the past. We have to live in the present, 2019. The original and fixed meanings take us to the past. Fixed and original meaning have no place in today's world. What do you mean? Fixed originalist. What do you mean? Fixed and original meaning have no place in today's world. We need to interpret the Constitution in the spirit and concept in which it was written to preserve the people's rights. Well, we are preserving the people's rights, Benjamin Constitution, because we're not fixed. We're not using a fixed construct. We are analyzing how society changes, and we are interpreting the Constitution based on societal changes. All right? Do you comprehend? This is real. I'm not making this up.
I understand.
This is real. This is a real debate. Past 150 years. This is a real debate. Now, which one reigns today? Constructionists.
The other side.
Constructionists reign today. In Bible study and interpreting the Constitution, in every aspect of human. Give me a minute, brother. I got you. I acknowledge you. In every aspect of human interchange, constructionist views reign today. The Rockefeller General Board of Education, 1908. The Gentle Semanticist Movement, 1938. This was orchestrated. And I said before, 100 years ago, judges used etymology to adjudicate decisions. All right? Go ahead, brother. I'm going to go right to that.
You said general semantic?
So, semanticist movement. I'll write it down.
Yeah, because, you know, that's court law, right? I mean, that's...
If you're talking court, you're talking color of law.
Color of law. And see, that's what I'm saying.
If you're saying court law, because that's what you're used to. You're used to color, fake, artificial. Great. Yes.
Wow. I'm silent right now. I wanted to write that down on the board. So
all right.
I'm trying to take my attorney.
General, I'm gonna move on, go right to that side. Semanticist movement, 1938. And I think that Kowalski, the Russian, developed this movement.
Wow.
All right, over here, on the board, on the screen. Etymology and jurisprudence. Denotation versus connotation. So we have here on the denotation a natural child, connotation or adopted child. So you have the birthright will go to your natural child. You have two children. Your natural child that came out of your womb. Then you decide, 3 years later to adopt the child. The child is 3 years old. So your natural child is 3 years old. You adopt the child, you adopt it 3 years old. So you welcome the child into the kindred. But that child does not have the right to the birthright. Because that birthright is tied to what? The blood. So the right for that natural child, right to the claim to the birthright, it's blood rights. So who has the adopted child does not have blood rights. Thank you. So you have here denotation, aboriginal. Aboriginal is that coming down or descendants of the original people. So ab means from, doesn't mean not original. It means from. We are descendants of the original inhabitants of the land. We have a blood connection. So that's original inhabitants of the land. An alien, not bound. That is not bound by blood to the land. So the George Bush and Donald Trump in the game are alien to the land. They have political jurisdiction which they're not alien to, but the land. Only the Aboriginal have blood rights to the land. Aliens can't claim. So this false concept that they fed us through social engineering, I am an American because I was born here. What are they attempting to do in that statement? To claim our blood rights to the land. By being born here, that doesn't give anyone blood rights to the land. Our blood rights claims that we are what? The original people, native people, indigenous people to the land. Their claim is that they were born here. We're not making that claim. We're not making a claim that this is our land because we were born here. We're not making that. But they say that. I never heard any Abiyan say they got rights to the land because they are descendants of the original people. They don't even say that. They don't say that. They don't make that claim. They make the claim, well, I was born here. Don't they? Yes. I'm an American, I was born here. I'm an American, I was born here. I'm an American if I was born here. They never say, I'm an American because I am what? I am what? An Aboriginal, Native, and indigenous to the land. See the difference? They say, I'm an American because I was born here. Now, put me in touch with an Albion that makes that claim that they're American because, they don't make that claim. They don't make that claim. Come on, y'all. They don't make that claim. Albions don't make that claim. They don't. They don't even make that claim in the Constitution. They're not making a claim, though. They're not making that claim. So we would be wrong by saying, we would have to show me evidence that they're making that claim. They're not. They don't make that claim in the Constitution. There's no classification in the Constitution that reads American citizen. You don't see this in the Constitution. You don't see this term. You don't see this term. We the people of America. Hold on, Abdullah, you're wrong. Abdullah, you're misquoting. Abdullah don't read we the people of America. It reads we the people what?
In order to form
We the people, no, you ain't no. I'm wrong, brother. You gotta correct me. Brother, you gotta correct me first. I said, we the people of America. You gotta say, Abdullah, you're wrong.
That's right.
Give it to me. I'm wrong, so give it to me.
we the people in order to
Of. We the people of the United States.
I was waiting for her to help.
Right. We the people of the United States. It doesn't read we the people of America. They're not making that claim. Even in the preamble, they don't make the claim to be Americans. All right, continue. So, this conceptual framework is a way in which you can use in your studies. You can apply this in your studies, in every facet of human exchange, in every facet of your studies.
Go ahead.
All right? Natural and foreign. That natural?
Natural.
Yeah, natural. So,
The lights are killing
yes.
things.
So saying that our claim is that we are natural to the land. So we're looking at, once again, the natural child and the adopted child. An adopted child is an alien who's clothed, not inherent, just clothed with rights of citizenship, which is limited. That's an alien. That's your adopted child. The adopted child doesn't have blood rights.
Okay. Sorry about
Mhm.
that. Neither. I know this light's a
No,
killer.
that's all right. Yes, indigenous all right, indigenous. You have a plant. Certain plants are indigenous to certain areas. What does that mean? They're naturally grown. They're not taken from one area and planted. Indigenous, naturally grown in that area. Natural to that area. So we have an immigrant. Means move into. I am into. Migrate means move. Move into. Yes, brother.
I've always had a problem with this whole immigrant issue because based on what you just said, with the analogy of adopted compared to the birthright child, the immigrant that they talk about here and that we talk about here isn't what they mean when they say immigrant in their own transition from Europe, because they mean immigrant with an E, and they always leave that off.
With
There's
an
a
E?
huge difference. Yes, immigrant with an E as opposed to immigrant with an I.
That doesn't change the meaning. All right.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring that up so you as etymologists could point out that difference if there is. Because the way I understand it, this could be based on what you just said a moment ago with the whole, dumbing down of it. But with an E means you came to stay permanently.
No, that's not
I's. Okay, help me out.
All right, we talking about vowel shifts. So you said etymology.
Mm-hmm.
It's called vowel shifts. The vowel shift doesn't change meaning. Sound. So the vowel shift is a sound shift. It's a sound shift. It's based on principles of etymology.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Sound shift. All right? You have the base words of consonants. Vowels were added later. So when you're shifting a vowel, you're just shifting sound. When you're adding a vowel to end, you're just changing the sound. It doesn't change meaning. I think where you're really coming from is that Donald Trump and the gang have, through their constructive, in their political organization, you have nothing to do with land. Have nothing to do with land. Mexicans are immigrants. I say not land. Not to land. In their political organization, their political corporate construct, not land. Mexicans are not immigrants. All right? I think that's where because they're controlling the agenda. They're deciding who is an immigrant and who's not. Because they're controlling the language and the agenda. They usurp our authority. They usurp our national authority, our national sovereignty. And writing legislation that classifies our Haitian Moors, our Mexican Moors, as immigrants, when in fact they're not immigrants, meaning that moving into. They have the birthright to travel freely upon the land, any part of the America, North America, Central America, South America. So the Spaniards, the French, the Dutch, the English, the Germans created artificial border boundaries. I think that's where you're going.
It is, and that's why I think the word, when you look at the modern dictionary, you look up the difference between immigrant with an I and immigrant with an E. The only difference that you'll find is that one.
You're talking this.
Yes.
That's moving out. Move out. into.
Yeah, so they left to go to a new land, which is this one, to stay permanently.
All right.
And the way that they define the one that the I am one is,
That's the etymology of the word.
okay, I got it.
All right. Etymology of the word. Look at the etymology of the word. I am is the prefix. Into. E prefix. Out of. Move. I'm immigrating to Russia. I'm immigrating to Russia. Moving out. All right? So, when I'm immigrating to Russia, out. Now, while I'm in Russia, I'm an immigrant. Because I'm moved into. But I have to first move out. Let's look at it once again. E means out of. The prefix E means out of. The prefix I am means into. What's the confusion?
I never saw that like that.
Help me out, brother. What's the confusion?
No, there isn't. I was just basing on, like I said before, the whole idea of the connotative and the denotative, meaning how it's been changed over time. Because I know historically, when they left Europe, they considered themselves immigrants with an E. But they don't talk about that any longer. That doesn't apply to anyone else but themselves, which is why I think what you meant, or what you explained a moment ago about them calling themselves Americans because they were born here, is how they clothe themselves in that, based on the intent of what the definition, the latest definitions of immigrant that you'll find, means that they left there to come here to stay permanently, not to seek status and to do the other things that they say these so-called Mexicans and Central Americans that you and I both know are indigenous to the land are moving to come here and seek asylum and these other legal political things that they're talking about, which are, again, separate from what they were doing when they jumped on them boats to come to this land.
All right. Let me clarify. Let me just reiterate. Once again, the Albions are not clothing themselves. The Albions do not claim to be Americans, officially. You cannot give me any official documentation where they claim to be Americans.
I just mean when they speak.
That's what I said, officially. Which is, you gotta go by that. I'm going by that. I'm not going by what they say out of their mouth. I'm not going by that.
Okay.
I'm not going by what they say to you at your job. I'm not going by what they say on TV. I'm going by the Constitution. Show me, brother, look it up, in the United States Constitution where they claim to be Americans. I got 5 minutes. No, I want him to show me.
No, I already know it's not there.
Jim, I don't want you to say it. I want him to show me in the Constitution where they are claiming to be Americans. Not on TV, not at your job, not down the street, not at 7-Eleven, not at Wawa, not at the Glee Club, not at the dance club. I'm talking about an official claim. Because what they'll do is go to you. No, we're not. Say, yes, you are. Say, no, we're not. We're not claiming to be Americans. You say, yes, we are. They will say, show us. Show us. And you can't show them. You're in court now. You're in world court. You said they claim to be Americans. Well, here's the Constitution, United States Constitution. I don't see nowhere where they claim to be Americans. But at my job, yeah, but the Europeans at my job, when I went to 7-Eleven, I went to the club and, I watched TV and they had the podium and, excuse me, brother, man, you want to go buy this document right here. I don't know about no club, know what you saw on TV. We're going by this document. Show me, brother. Make a claim on this document, bro. United States Constitution. Make a claim on here. Show me where they claim to be Americans. But at my job, once again, brother, don't bring the job in here no more. Stop talking about the club and 7-Elevens. Stop talking about C-SPAN, CNN, CNN. Stop, brother. We here in court now. World Court. Court of Justice. Show me, here's the documentation. Show me where they claim to be Americans. They don't. You gotta show me here, brother. United States Constitution. Alright, I want to end here shortly. Alright, I want to thank y'all. This is my new book. This is how Venus and Moon rule. Alright? This is the front cover. And this is the back cover. To get the book, you can go to mooresandmasonry.org. I'm going to read this here. Addressing the political motive of the distorted and corrupted view that the woman in the ancient crescent horn-headed goat misrepresented as the devil are the causes of the world's evil. On the back, you'll see the ancient Shriners, Walter Fleming in 1870, placed the Moorish scimitar above the crescent moon and five-pointed star. Within the body of the crescent is a shrunken woman's head. What that represents is the subjugation of ancient principles of woman and her connection to divinity. So, I'm going to read this part here. In the chapter entitled Goddess of the Witches of their book, The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth, Monique Chion and Barbara Moore write, the morning star, also the evening star, is Venus, which along with the moon was observed with very accurate calculations by ancient astronomers worldwide. To the Aztec, it was Quetzalcoatl. To the Mayans, Calculcan. To the Sumerians and Babylonians, it was Inanna Ishtar. When quote-unquote Christians encounter astronomical and astrological observation and text on Venus and the moon, they saw only devil worship. Hence, they destroyed library after library containing ancient wisdom and knowledge, including the Mayan astronomical library at Mani, as well as the Library of Alexander. Mayan astronomical knowledge was probably the most advanced in the ancient world. In 1552, the Spanish friar Diego de Lando, confronting all these texts containing Mayan intellectual brilliance as well as spiritual data, stated that they contained nothing in which there was not to be seen superstition and lies of the devil, and so we burned them all. Early Christians, quote-unquote Christians, smashing of demonic cults in the medieval Mediterranean, as well as later church persecution of witches in Europe, must be seen in their global context. Wherever, quote-unquote Christians, that's mine, I put quote-unquote Christians, saw knowledge, herbal, medicinal, medical, astronomical, symbolic, they saw demonism and moved to destroy it. The witch persecutions were not simply aimed at quote-unquote devil worshippers, but ancient human knowledge of the world. All right? So to get the book, go to mooresandmasonry.org. And then, of course, I have my etymology books, my Moors and Masonry book, and my Masonic Compass Square book. All right? On that end, we'll be bringing up Brother Shem. All right? Thank you for your attention.
That's how you introduce Shem?
Oh, absolutely not. Thank you, Tamara. Oh, I thought you was going to do it. this brother I'm about to bring before you, this is his welcome out. This is his welcoming. This is his coming out party, as I call it. I've known this brother for about 15, 16 years. And we had seen each other for a period of time. And I bumped into him after I had not seen him for a while, back in October of last year. And we bumped into each other several times. And 5 months ago, just shortly after my putting out the Masonic Conference Square Moors and Masonry, my newspaper, Masonic Gate newspaper, I called him and I was on my way towards his house, and I told him I wanted to stop by and give him a newspaper. And we ended up spending 2 hours outside his mother's house talking. And ever since that day, 5 months ago, ever since that 2-hour discussion, we've been connected 4 or 5 days a week. All right? And Tamara has joined in with us, and been working with us for the past 5 months. And, in building a Moorish body politic. And also, Shem and I will be teaching a course here at the House of Reawakening Mind, a law course, starting January 25th, a 10-week law course. I'll do the first on what I did tonight, and I'll go more expansion on what I did tonight if I have more time. And then she'll actually continue on with that, and I'm excited about that. Tamara has been working closely with us with that. So without further ado, I'll bring my friend, this great brother, this Jewish consultant, this brother a wealth of knowledge, and great humanitarian, and taking his time and sharing and teaching us and the great love he has for people. This brother works tirelessly. I mean, he's up sometimes 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, doing researching. He's been doing that for years. So it's an honor to bring this brother on. I bow to you, brother. All right. Shem, Malachi Bay.
Honor, peace, and love, nobles. Honor, peace, and love to all the Moors.
Have this water here.
This is what I'm going to go into today. But before I get there, I just want to reiterate, because the thing about America and them coming over here in the boat, I just want to clean up some things. The brother's going to etymology. I'm going to clean up some things so we won't have no misunderstanding. The Romans, the Italians, and the Greeks. Before the British, French, and Spaniards got here, how they got here was through the Roman, the Italians, and Greece armies. Because when Rome and Greece conquered Europe, Asia, and Africa, they brought their armies. But Africa been coming here back and forth. But when Rome conquered, let me explain to you when I say Rome. I'm not talking about pale people. I'm also talking about melanated people. So we get the misconception, we just talk about Albions. But you have to understand, Albions and melanated people in Europe are the same blood descendants. They don't have a fight with that. That's why the kings are with melanin, and some kings are Albion with no melanin. Because you're dealing with Esau. Esau married a woman that had dark melanin, like coal. And when he got his melanin back, his life back through her. So they conquered this side of the world, what you call a Mexican. This is why you ever notice that every time France, Spain, Scotland, Dutch, Ireland, Iceland, Poland do anything, you always see his Catholic Majesty. You ever notice that? Now I'm gonna tell you a secret. This is why they came over here by permission of the Roman Catholic. The Roman Catholic is still alive today. It's called the Roman Catholic Church. The Vatican, the priests, the cardinals are the Senate. The Pope is Caesar. That's why, if you think I'm lying, later on I have her email you the treaty United States got with his Catholic Majesty. Why is the Catholic Majesty giving the United States a treaty and they nowhere in the thing? in the picture by all this history they talk about. Why the schools, why the scholars not talking about the Roman Catholic Church? Come on now. Why is the Roman Catholic Church, why? What, brother?
I just want to know the name of that treaty. That's not the Treaty of Verona, right?
No, I have Tamara email that treaty. If you want to get it, she'll give you a copy of it.
Okay.
Now, what I'm saying is, that's the writings. You can't hide that. That's a fact. You look at all these acts, international acts, and you notice something. They'll sign at the end, they got the Catholic National. When Abraham Lincoln did a proclamation and said the states are in rebellion, you better know, but you didn't catch that till I put it to your attention. What did he have in there? Catholic territory. Catholic territory was in there. I thought it'd go all the way over here, that's why I didn't know. Catholic territory was in that proclamation. Now, why would Catholic territory be the proclamation of Abraham Lincoln? Why is all the European nations signing what is called a Magna Carta? What is it called? Magna Carta. Why is he signing that sent to the Roman Catholic Church for permission to be a people? They acknowledge themselves as a nation because the Catholic Church is a benefactor. See, you have to understand about trust law. There's some hiding in trust law. See, benefactors are the lords of the land. That means it's been all the nations broken up into clans, tribes. Each tribe got a chief or head of a clan. That's the lord of that clan. The descendants are all under the lords. They tied into the bloodline, which a lot of them have a king. Some don't have a king. Some are head up by the head of their clan. And they all come together. This is where they stole this from. Coming together, monopoly, coming all together, building a confederacy. That comes from us. Because a lot of them didn't believe in having a pharaoh or a king. We believe in the head of the clan. We have a clan, all our clan members, like the nation, the Constitution of 5 nations. See, I found out, I had to read history and find out that it wasn't just the men doing this thing. It was women doing this thing, brother. So I go back and say, whoa, this was Queen sitting down here signing treaties? Giving authority, yes. Go back to the 15, 16, 17 century treaties. Another thing they got us apophicated, all messed up with, is that you think that people like us are brought here on a ship in binders. No. We was giving orders to people to come over here on ships. People like us been coming over here way before France, Spain, all these people come over. They, as a matter of fact, even some of the Caesars were indigenous, melanated people. When William Penn did business with Leonardapis, now you got to understand, William Penn was a master esquire because if he wasn't good, the king would never send him over here. So he worked for the king. When he got here, he met the Leonardapis. He said, listen what this man said. This man put the Leonardapis up on a pedestal like this of economics, commercial, development, strategy. He picked them high up there. He gave something, he let a secret out the bag. He said the people are burnt still like coal with dreadlocks. I want you to hear this. He said, much like the Italians. So you tell me William Penn is making a reference of the people melanated here like Italians? So you know somebody's telling a lie. So like the brother said, we were so, I just want to get on that literally because everybody don't know that they don't teach you that not only are we origin, we origin here and our nativity come here, from here too, because our mothers come from here. So that gives us ties to the land. That's why there was a dispute, the Lancaster Treaty, it's right here in Shaker, Mexico. That's when the 5 civilized tribes came down to meet the crown. Said, we have a problem here. Our associated bands, the Indians, that signed these treaties. Listen what they say. Tell me they say origin. They say our mothers and fathers came from this land. Our blood is tied to this land. This land is not to be invaded. That means you can't come in here and get the same allodian rights that we got and tell us what we're going to do because this tribe down here told you can do it. So they came in as the head. That means that was the kingdoms. That wasn't just nations. That was the kingdoms that came together and check these little tribes that was running around here as little sovereigns, little sovereign nations. Because a kingdom is a what? Like the Empire of Morocco. It wasn't just here, down in Mexico, down in South America, stretching over South, stretching in Europe. So you say you're an empire, even the British stole that. They say the British Empire. You know what they're saying, right? In all, they use the word her, a rim. Now, rim means dominion. That means anywhere that I got political control of, you don't have to own the land and have control of it. You don't have to even own the land, and you can tell a person, you don't have to even own a house, and you can tell the owner of the house what to do if you can fool them and trick them. I mean, they voluntarily consent to give you that authority. So, but I just want to run that by you so people know when it comes down talking about the game they play, the title game, white and black, that don't exist. He broke that down before, so that don't exist. Anybody listen to him, you still playing that game, you might go and get you some checkers and play yourself checkers. Because that's all you're doing. All right, I'm going to hear this called disputes. What's the first one you had before this one? Did she have another one?
Treaties.
Huh?
Treaties.
That's what I want first. Yes, that's what I want first. I just want to show something first. I'm not going to go through the film and show you. The reason why I'm bringing treaties up, I want you to see this right here. This is going to tell you about everything dealing with disputes, dealing with civil, criminal, jurisdiction, status.
Could you read them, please?
Oh yes, that's the Delaware, that's the Delaware-Lenape Treaty of 1778. This is the Jay Treaty between the United States and Great Britain. This is the Danish Treaty between the United States and Great Britain. This is a treaty between the Days of Algiers and the United States. That's dealing with the Moors. And I think there's one more treaty on there, right? Oh, that's it. Oh yeah, excuse me. And then goes the Constitution Supremacy Clause, Article 6. And then I have some case law. I'm going to go briefly into it. So, you go back to that, right?
Hold on.
You gotta slow down. You gotta slow down.
Shem,
You have a
read them
question?
again.
You have a question?
No. Shem, reread those and then provide the years.
Okay. I'll show what it says. Treaties. Delaware, Lenape Treaty, 1778. The Jay Treaty, I believe I'm not mistaken, is in 1794. The Danish Treaty, I believe was in 21, I'm not mistaken. The treaty between the Days of Algeria, that was in 1794, I believe. And this here is the Constitutional Supremacy Article and case law. The case law, I have to go, you'll see the year when it's open up when I go into it. Okay, tell me better time to go back to
Go back to jurisdiction.
Yes. Okay, now, the Moors in their own land exercising their rights, claiming their status, always going to have disputes. Disputes going to come about because there's been a fraud played on the people to psychological coerce and social engineer, like Minister Abdullah said. And this has been going on for a lot of years. This is the whip that a lot of us store ourselves, coming off the scars of that whip. Even I'm coming off the scars of that whip. That's why he had to check me one time when he said, you yourself was one time under the whip, getting beat, and that's the truth. So I can't come that hard on somebody who's stored under the whip, getting me behind whipped. So, and that whip is a mental, that's a mental whip. In that dispute, you're dealing with equity. You're dealing with commodities, water, land rights, title, wealth, minerals. That's like civil injuries, criminal, bad action, injuries, like extortions, rape, robbery, murder. These two are the same. Now, how these two apply to you is come to jurisdiction and delegation of authority. That means, here I am, if another national, another Moor said I did something to him. That Moor can, according to law and contract, don't supposed to take me in that court at all. They court. They de facto court. They de facto court. At all. If it's a national of another country or a citizen of a state, now you notice I say the word, a national of a country and a citizen of a state. The state is nothing but a political organization, a corporation. It can only have corporate members. That's what citizen is defined as, a corporate member. Because they don't have any part, no bondage, no, they're not bound to this land through blood. So when you have a dispute with a national of another country and a citizen of the state, what comes in now, the only thing a play comes in to get jurisdiction is first the nativity and the origin of the people of the land. I mean, the first one's here. And if there is an international dispute and the most favored nation is the one that gave this nation amnesty to be a government here. That means to give a king power to expand his jurisdiction and his realm into their physical, natural land. That can be done. Now, when that happens, them two enter into what you call a treaty or international compact agreement. Because you're going to be here in my land. I'm not in your land. You're in my land. And your people are going to be here doing commerce as a corporation, as a colony. Then there may be a dispute arise. You can't just take my national and try it under your law in his own land. That's why they have it. So what happens is, when this happens, in order for a foreign nation or a foreign political organization, which is called a state, to have jurisdiction, they have to first have delegation of authority. That means that got to be in the treaty. That got to be in the contract. That's the only thing you get the authority to do something. You only get that delegated authority from the sovereign, the most favorable nation that gave the treaty, the hosting country that gave it, to the country that wants to come in and stand in rent and do commerce. Now we point to treaty. We point to Constitution. I'm getting somewhere now. The Constitution is built up on what was already in existence. Treaties. Constitution of 5 nations. That's the only way they can derive a delegation of authority to do what they did was through treaty. Nothing else. Nothing else. And nobody in the world can tell me that they have power to form this charter vessel. This is called a charter vessel contract. Now let me break down an amity word for it. You got the law of the land, navigation. You got the laws of the sea, a vessel, a container, a substance, something that moves, something that sells. Now let me break this down. The land that we're on right now floats on the water. Tell me if I'm not lying. Am I lying? It got a north, it got a south, it got a west, and it got an east. And the winds blows in all them directions. So that vessel is floating like the land. And on that vessel, you can do the same thing you do on the land. You can build homes, kitchens, just like you build on the land. So that vessel, this is their charter vessel. In amity, this is their way of moving a vessel on your land. on your pier. In order to bring your vessel into foreign jurisdiction, you got to get permission from the sovereign. You just can't pull your ship with somebody. I just can't take my ship without a flag, even with a flag on it. If a foreign nation see a ship coming without a flag, without a treaty, that's an act of war, and they shoot it down in the waters. So that's why they made this constitution to get amnesty, navigation, based on what was already existing. Or they'd be enemies. That's why they came, when they rose up against the crown, they had to flee. I'm going to show you that in the treaty of the Delaware Treaty. They had to flee. Who the first person they ran to? The French. France. These people need somewhere to go. You don't have to run to somebody and sign a treaty of peace unless you want to run. Then the crown gave you permission to create your own body politic as a political state. You rise up against your leader, your crown. Now you have to flee. So you have to run to who? France. 1782, 1778, same year, after they ran to France and got a treaty from France, they went over to the Delaware Nation. They signed a treaty with the Delaware Nation. Now, let me say something. They became the United States. Abdullah said something right. It didn't say United American States. It didn't say United Colony States. It just said they became the United States. Now, you have to understand, we're talking about the United States. That's the first United States. The political groups that went to France and the Delaware Nation, now I'm going to show you something. They went to France. France had a what? A king. France is up there, a crown. The little nappies had what? An emperor. Then the United States was being busy. After they did that, they turned around and go into 1782. Excuse me, back up. They went to 1781, did the Articles of Confederacy. They formed a confederacy. Where did that example came from? Came from the 5 nations. And let me explain this to you. That confederation, listen to you. In order to do the Articles of Incorporation, you have to first what? Have permission from what? You out with Great Britain. You can't go back to the crown. They're going to kill you. So you got to go to the next 2 sovereigns. France and Emperor Leonard Nappies. Now, when sovereign emperors and kings signed a treaty with you, you at peace. You got somebody got your back. Then they turned around and said, let's do like the Aryan Court did. Let's create a confederacy. Even Canada was had to be part to join that confederacy. See what's going on here? Then after they leave here, they go right back. Why? Because the crown said, we're going to get you. You can't, watch it, you can't go back to the colony territory that's patented by the crown. You only had a grant. Even the Constitution you had back then, it was still giving grants. The crown ain't giving, the crown never gave them a land. She allowed them to have political authority to make their own decisions under what's called municipal law. That's all she did. Or he did. They still had to go back because they didn't have no land. They couldn't even use the name Pennsylvania and all that. They couldn't use the name. It was patented by the crown. So they had to go back. They went back in 1782, they entered the treaty. They go back to 1783, they entered the treaty. Now notice in the treaty.
Now what names was that?
That's the 1782 treaty.
I'm saying what names were that?
Peace
you said
treaty.
they had to go back to the names?
Oh, Georgia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, all the names of the colonies. They couldn't use those names because those names was owned by the what? The dukes, the earls, and all of them. They have, let me say what I mean. When William Penn wanted to get more territory, he was granted Philadelphia. Anybody know Philadelphia originally? On the other, he's probably right. On the other side of Broad Street from Fifth and Lehigh to Northern Liberty. That's all it was. That was a grant given to him as Philadelphia. Now watch this. William Penn's the finger. He said, wait a minute. I always did business for His Majesty. I always did business for His Majesty. So he went to the Emperor of the Lenape and said, can I please get a piece of land in Shaker Metzen so I can go ahead and create a municipality so that it will be outside the reach of the crown. That's why he did it. But there's no document of that. They just word them out. And from that on, from the 16th century, they've been using something that's not even recorded on paper. Oh, Philadelphia was given to William Penn. Who said it was given to William Penn? It said William Penn was given a grant. Now, William Penn did purchase land, which was taken back. Watch this. White man king in 1763 said nobody could buy any more land. And all in their dominion and realm belongs to the crown. All titles in the crown. So listen to me. The Duke of York, brother was the king, Charles II. He beat the Dutchess out of the land and gave it to his brother. That's what happened in Pennsylvania. Well, excuse me, that's not Pennsylvania. That's Yorktown. That's York territory. Remember the one about they walked the miles and they ran? You know what that is, right? Allentown. That's why they go to court. See, let me explain what happened. We got a task in our hand because what happened in the late 18th century, they created the Bureau of Indian Affairs. These people ran up here and grabbed these names and ran straight to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and turned around and ascended with them and relinquished their authority. And by them saying they're the Cherokee Nation, you know you weren't no damn Cherokee Nation. So they went there, and when they did that, they gave away their political rights and they became under the Union. I mean, they became incorporated. Now they became just like one of the original states. So Congress got to regulate how your laws is under Article 2, I think 1, Section 2, how it is regulate commerce. You can't regulate commerce for yourself. When you can't regulate commerce, you went in bondage. You went in bondage. They did that. It's in the case law. Matter of fact, I'm going to read something. What Justice Marshall said. For all them to think that they nationals of the United States, I'm going to tell you what they consider you as so-called national of the United States. Let me get that. I want to make sure I get this and I read this right. Let me see I get it right. Okay. Excuse me. This is what Judge Marshall said about our people. The Cherokee Nation sought a federal injunction against laws passed by the United States against the state of Georgia depriving them of rights within its boundaries, but the Supreme Court could not hear the case on its merits. Now watch this. It ruled that it had no original jurisdiction. Now let me say the same. Look what it said. It had no original jurisdiction, meaning it had, go back up top, Tamara. Go back up.
Good.
Just go back up and go to jurisdiction, delegation, authority. Okay, right here. The judge couldn't speak law. And he had no delegation of authority. A treaty did that. But watch what it said, though. In the matter which a relationship to the United States like that of a ward to its, like a ward to its guardian, as said Justice Marshall. You know what he just did? Connotatively and constructively, he just took them out of their capacity as a sovereign. By his opinion. What he's saying is that I'm the High Court Justice. This is what I say they are. Now, when that's going on being taught, the people, even our people going into their schools, they'll look at this concept right here and say, you say, what is it? Are they just wards? What's this being a national? What's this being pedigree, blood, and land? The Supreme Court said they're a ward. Okay, now, where did the Supreme Court get their delegation of authority from? Go back down, Canberra. The Supreme Court got the delegation of authority from this instrument right here. So they're speaking from a vessel, the Constitution of the United States. They're speaking from a charter vessel contract. And that contract, they can only speak in the corners of that contract within that instrument. But they don't have, there was nothing delegated into the Constitution, like Abdul said. Show me in the Constitution that they got the right to define who the native people of the land was. Where's that? Where did they get the delegation authority this from? I'm just asking, where's it from? Okay, you say, yes, it can. Okay, show it to me. Show it to me the treaty. Matter of fact, show it to me in their own Constitution. That the Supreme Court of the United States can make a statement like this. Where did they derive that statement from? How can the people that's building civilization, giving your crown opportunity and ideals, turn around and be a warrior? Simply one reason. Somebody speaking. It doesn't exist on paper and law. And you can get away with this too. Just start being into the university and be a social engineer. You'll be caught up in this, and you'll think, watch me, I'm gonna get back, I'm gonna get to something. Now, by being a social engineer, believe that thing, you be saying, you acting like one of these people here. A state citizen, a resident, not bound to the land. I mean, you get a blood ties to the land. This is you right here. Now, if you're free from that statement and say, okay, I haven't said an opinion of the court, but this is a real contract, this is a real law right here. Treaties. And you got treaty, you got this. Council, body politics, and you send a letter of rogatory. That's government-to-government relationship. Individual Moors that's relying on the treaty, but haven't been set up yet with the council, haven't came back to claim the states and create a political structure, a body, a civic structure, that say, hey, we will have people in place to take care of our business like our ancestors did a long time ago. Because you don't have that. You have to be very crafty now. You're operating individually now. So the first thing you got to do is cleave to what the Catholic Church cleave to. Religion and spiritual faith.
Say it loud.
Spiritual, faith, and religion. That's the Catholic Church stand on. That's why they in Italy as a foreign country on the continent of Europe. And yet there at the bottom, they give is calling all the shots. Holding on to what? All ours, O deity and piety. So now the individual Moors say, whoa, wait a minute. I'm going to teach you something tonight. When you go ride on the road in your car, and they stop you and take your car, them are custom officers. That's why they got the amity flag there. Come on now. They got an amity flag on. You in custom, you being confiscated. You on the war, you don't know that? The War Powers Act was signed, saying the United States citizens, the citizens of the United States are enemy of government. What government? What government are you talking about? You said the citizens of the United States, now again, the citizens, let me explain it to you. The originalists, that's the people believe in a fixed definition, believe in their rights under this charter vessel contract. They are enemies of the government. What government? The new de facto government has just declared war with legislation. They declare war. Now, when this happens, you at war. In order to protect yourself. Now you wonder why they take you and tell you to snatch your car, tell you got to go, you come in our buildings, our vessel, you better have what? A passport or a proper license. Now this is here go the thing. Here go the social engineer, the psycho-coerce. You better have one of these, you better be a state citizen. Somebody's an enemy to us. Or you better be a resident, the alien, somebody that ain't got no nativity or origin to the land. You see that now? And you run down there. Once you know, you run down, I'm going to get me a state ID. I'm going to get me a state ID. There's nothing wrong with that. If you know how to operate as well, you better know contract law when you're doing that. You say, wait a minute, since I got to go in and take care of business. I understand that. But listen to what I just told you. They got a word called, to protect yourself, called XRL.
Extra.
I'm here paying
He said, say the word again.
XRL. That's a Latin word. I did break it down one time. They teach on XRL.
Could you put
I
it
got
on
the
the
Black's
board?
Law Dictionary. I got to look in there.
It's on, you put
Right
it on the board.
she got markers on the board.
Okay, let me look find the word XRL.
X-rail. It's right on the board, Shem.
I don't know how to spell it. I'm here. XRL. I don't spell it. Yeah, spell it. Go, come on.
E-X,
EX.
space, R-E-L.
There you go. That's XRL.
L.
The L. XRL.
Yes,
R-E-L.
R-E-L.
Right. All right, nobles. This right here is the thing the Attorney General used, the substitute of the people of the state. You ever see it say the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the state of Delaware, the state of New Jersey? That used to be the people of New Jersey.
Hold the mic up. Hold the mic, hold the mic.
It used to be the people of New Jersey. Now, now they're coming in, the Attorney General coming in, the state coming in as well, on behalf of the people.
So write the construction on the board,
Okay.
right, both sides. Put
Let me get it right, let me get this right, so you get this right.
Give us the de facto, give us the de jure.
Okay, they go to de jure,
Put the de jure, then put the facto on the side.
and it's de facto. Okay, the de jure is ex rel. That's the de jure. The de facto is, meaning that the people, just the people of the state. And de facto is the corporation for the state.
Give us an example, like,
Okay.
state of Delaware versus,
The state of Delaware versus Moody, my last name, my straw man name. The state of Delaware versus Brockington.
put that on there.
That's the state of Delaware. The state of Delaware, and this the people. So the state of Delaware versus,
Yes.
I say versus Ham. The people of the state of Delaware versus Ham.
All right.
What's the difference there?
Let me see.
The difference is, XREL, if you come from the XREL, you the people. You turn around, you versus whoever you got, which we call here in the middle a private defendant. Now, when somebody rob you or do something wrong, now normally, let's say if somebody rob you and do something wrong, you have to report that crime. Well, normally when you report it, you are the only witness. So what happened is, when you go ahead and meet I call it a code enforcement officer, code officer. They ain't practicing law. They're not operating law. A code officer takes a complaint. He takes it to an attorney. Now you notice, you don't take it to a counselor, somebody, people take it to an attorney. The private defendant takes it to the co-officer, who will exchange take it to the attorney for the state.
Can you,
Who takes it to the attorney for the state. You understand what I'm saying? There's a private complaint between two parties. Something happened here. So now there's a witness. The witness has a complaint against one of the people, which is both are the people of the state. Now he takes it to the co-officer. The co-officer takes it to an attorney. Attorney takes it over to a corporate officer here. This attorney works for him, state of Delaware. Now what happens is, this party is the one that's supposed to be the witness. They take the statement, this statement goes to them, then it goes to them, then it goes to a judicial officer. Or like that dude said, commissioner. Goes to a commissioner. He issued a probable cause determination. Now, what happened? What just happened? What just happened? Anybody catch it? Absolutely. They changed the jurisdiction. Because now the people are not coming in. It's the Commonwealth. Why? Because they run a commerce. They run a commercial activity. And they're working with amity. That's called amity law. Now, normally when a citizen,
Could you,
right, I'm in the way.
well, yeah, and I think.
I'm a racist. I'm gonna show you something. Normally the citizen.
Don't waste here.
Okay.
Stand to the side for a minute. People take notes. Yeah, take pictures and take notes.
Okay. Now I'm gonna show you what a private citizen is supposed to be able to want to do that. I'm gonna show you how it's supposed to go. That's why they try to do with this method right now. They don't even tell nobody about this method. Everybody got that? Okay. Now I'm gonna show you the right way to go, which they call the common law way. This is the right way to go. I'm gonna go back to Jurispurdence. And by the way, let me say something. When the states went against the crown, I want you to hear this. They were de facto. What de facto means illegitimate. They try to usurp the authority that the crown had. They try to make themselves equal with the crown, and they became de facto, not de jure anymore. De jure is when the citizen,
Like put more emphasis in the marker.
Does he need another marker?
no, that's good, that's good. Citizen get robbed. Watch this. The citizen get robbed and say, hey, I've been robbed. Okay. The citizen said, the Constitution say that everybody have a right to an attorney. This is a criminal matter. You go to a private attorney and say, hey, I've been robbed. What do? He does what you call an affidavit. Probable cause. Then he does what you call a criminal private, you say it right, private criminal complaint. I got that? He robbed me. Report it to the police. Police write a report up. You take the report, co-officer, and you write the attorney goes and write up a proper cause, after a proper cause and a criminal complaint. And then what he does is he takes and do what you call he or she or he files it in the county court. Now you see what happens here? Now the county court files it accepted. The county court files it accepted. Now it gets processed, and a date is scheduled for the witness that got robbed to go before a judicial officer. You see that? Yes. Anybody see that? I'm just showing constitutional structure that they even hide this stuff from their own people. So we have to be real careful now. We got to go by the letter of the law. That's why this is very important right here. You know this right here. And you know you operate individual. I'm going to explain this to you right now, your remedies. Now, this is just after just go off to make a determination. It's allowed, let me get it right, it allows the prosecutor to summon a grand jury investigation. Now, why is it done this way? Number one, from day one, your constitutional rights is not violated. Because it leads to here, who gives the prosecutor authority to do what? Summon the grand jury according to the Fifth Amendment. Now, I'm just showing you their way. That's the de jure way.
Could you go through the points again?
Okay, the de jure way is, if Tamara say, she caught me robbing Sam. Sam is a witness and Tara attorney. They take it to, okay, they go to the police and say, hey, he just tried to rob her, and she say, now the police will get the report, you get a copy of it. You take it to an attorney, you go to a private attorney who can draft up a proper cause affidavit and a criminal complaint. He or she can go and file like a criminal complaint in the county court. When it gets there, the process go before the judicial officer. Now, Tamara and the witness come before the judicial officer, and I be there and say, he said him rob him. He pistol whipped her. Now, what happens? The judicial, this is supposed to be a prime official case. They ain't supposed to lock you and hold you for trial for that. They're only supposed to determination that now you can do a grand jury investigation under the Fifth to protect the constitutional rights. Now, everybody get that? That's de jure for them. That's under their constitution. I'm doing this so I can show you what we're supposed to be doing when you operate individually as a ward. Everybody get that, right? You see how simple that is? That's simple. Now, I'm going to tell you what they do to us when we operate as a ward. Everybody got that?
Go ahead.
Look, you got it. I'll wait. I can wait there.
Want to up here?
Yeah.
She has a question. Want to come up
Does,
here?
to be able to do.
Hold on.
Carry
Hold on,
out
just a
your,
minute.
For the de jure process to work, does somebody have to be in that proper status?
No. This right here can work if you just, this can work if you just a common citizen. A common citizen. You know what they do? They hide this. They know you're not going to go into the law books and read this. Like you said, you know you're not a lawyer, you didn't study law. So that's the advantage, they can take advantage of you. You got people filling these jails up, they never had a grand jury. They said, Perica ain't gonna trust that. They said, man, that's a major fraud. You have to let the whole country, let everybody go. Because you run a fraud on them. I'm gonna show you where the law really applied. What happened to Guyton? They want to shot that man in his park, cold blood. They had to investigate her first. Then have a judicial officer said, you gotta get an investigative grand jury. Then the grand jury had to come back with an indictment before they could lock her up and stand up for trial. Now watch this. How many other people you know is locked up for murder and they take them transition from de facto to de jure, just like this? You know, you've been arrested for the crime, you reign. So, watch this. You're silent. You waive your rights. Oh, wait a minute. I got to write the Fifth Amendment. I want my grand jury. Can't get your conviction now. You can't run your bonds now. I'm going to tell you, they run the stock exchange. The courts. The people going to jail, keeping the country afloat. They lying. Oh, the cannabis. No, man. No, keeping the complex. That's the real, see, they look at them like this. Y'all ain't doing no real estate. We doing a real estate. That's why they got jail. Let me tell you something. You can buy a jail and have real estate. You be rich in no time.
Oh, okay.
Go, bro. You got a question?
Yeah. Excuse me for a second. Now, what if they already waived your arraignment rights and stuff like that, and you know, it's too late to go back and ask for a fifth degree, Fifth Amendment,
No, it's not too late, because the officer of the court, first of all, the conflict of interest. The officer of the court representing the de facto side. It's his job to protect. The Constitution says effective system of counsel. Now he's supposed to be operating as a counsel under the Sixth Amendment. We're talking about now terms, now fixed terms. Let's look at the word counsel. It got nothing to do with attorney or esquire. So they're using that word connotatively for the word counsel. That don't mean an esquire. That don't mean attorney. So you're being railroaded for the door. And because you don't know the law, you sit right there and guess what? You talk about a war now. Now that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the state of a mental retarded person. Not that you can't function and walking and working and stuff, you just can't comprehend right or wrong, reason, what is going on. Because that condition is called psychological coercion, social engineer, to the fact that even the attorney for a price or reward will sell you out. He don't even know that, and he's not a Sixth Amendment counsel. Because I'm speaking from going up in front of a judge, a common plea court judge. And I had a common court plea judge with my niece. Now, I always keep in my bag the memorandum of definitions. They try to jam me. I seen it coming. I said, oh, something ain't right. They all going to the side, something, I felt it. I said, I got ready. So this is the setup. The clerk said, hey, Mr. Hammond, that's my family maiden names. I didn't get your number. I need your bar number. I said, you ain't gonna get none. I ain't no bar attorney. I said, I'm a DJO Sixth Amendment counsel. I'm a juris consultant. So she told the judge, he's not an attorney. I said, oh, wait a minute. Attorney don't mean esquire. I went in my bag and said, you want to see the definition? Here you go, right here. I'll put this on the record. You just made a wrong statement. You're saying that I'm not an attorney. I have power of attorney, have a document. From the defendants give me power of attorney. And I am a counsel under the Sixth Amendment, that definition. But I'm not a esquire. I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, only attorney. I said, well, excuse me, you interchanging the words. That's not what it means. I have the Black Law Dictionary said. I said, I just told you why. That's why I couldn't go to jail. Because I'm handed to the, I said, you want to see this? The judge turned sideways on me. I said, you don't want to look at this? You don't want to look at this? And when I got finished, an attorney met me in the hallway and said, man, you know what you're doing. He said, I thought they were going to snatch your ass up and take you right to the back. He said, man, you stayed calm, you didn't argue. He said, you just poured paper and showed the judge. I said, well, you an esquire, right? I said, are you an attorney? He said, yeah. I said, you're an officer of the state. I know you are. I said, but are you I said, but now, do these words have the same meaning? Shall he was choked up? Like he was handicapped. So, if you got a case and your attorney didn't bring it up, you can bring it up on appeal. And affect the system of the counsel, non-pro-tongue. They have to hear that. That means you got to go, first you go back in front of the judge.
Put that on with non-pro-tongue.
This is a Latin word for noun and thing. Put a mark in this hand. Now,
You can say that in
non-pro-tongue.
is that an E?
No, that's a P-R-O, non-pro-tongue. For now and for then. Now and then, when it happened. For now and then. I use that structure to show you this is what they're doing over here. You know you better be right when you down here. When they do that to their own citizens, you know what they do to you. Now let me get some experience real fast. I introduced Abdullah to a man that they kidnapped for 10 years. Had him in a nut house. And I think he's still getting over that medication. Go ahead.
They did the same thing to me.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Now watch this. They got him again back here 5 years ago. I said, where the hell's he at? He good business, business head. He business, you know, real estate. He going again. I see him come out. This time he walking a little bit on the side of his shoes. So they might have been giving him the medication. Cause it seems like he ain't. You shoe medic. It seems like he got a little slowness to him.
Yeah, he does.
They might have told him, you're going to take this stuff, make him do this until he get out. So he can't sign any documents or sue. So if they, see, I've been in this situation, I know what's going on. Like Abdul teaches a lot of stuff. If you go in there talking about speaking connotative words and denotations, that's the truth. You can lay it all out. Now they're going to be psychiatrists. Listen to me. You mess around going there, if you don't know what to say and know how to contract, you mess around, go watch there, the sheriff be waiting for you, and you get in the van, and you somewhere up there in the mountains in a nut house.
That's what happened.
And guess what? They can run right in on somebody. We ain't gonna play with you, do this. Next thing you know, they said, where he at? They ain't got to lock you up now. Then they get you like that, got what they want out to the bond, they lock you up, got the maturity in the bond, by 10 years, they let you go. Hey, you know, they kidnapped me, you look messed up now. Damn. So you know if they're doing this to their citizens, and you down here operating individually, you better know what you're doing. Now I'm gonna show you what this is. Operating individually. You get stopped on the street. Watch this. Code enforcement officer stop you. Now I'm gonna tell you, amnesty law, that's war. You're in the War Powers Act. That's why the amnesty flag is in the courtroom. That's the amnesty flag. They're dealing with ships, vessels. They're confiscating goods, possessions. Now listen, hear me what I'm saying. Your body is goods. They confiscate your property. That's under war. And that's a violation of the treaty. That's a violation of the treaty. Because the only thing in the Constitution that got authority is the Supremacy Clause, Article 6. Treaties, the law of the land. That's the law of the land. So they smart. They're not using the law of the land. They said, we know the land, we on our own vessel. So when you on the land driving your car, they look at the land, the earth is vessel. You driving a land vessel. You under war. So they stop you, and this is what they say. Let me see your driver's license. Let me see if you got permission. That's what they say. You say, I'm not a citizen of the United States. I'm not a citizen of the state. Now, they're not trained. All they trained is this is how we make our money. I'm waiting for a picture. And you say, I want to see a supervisor. What's the supervisor going to do for you? You just told me you're warm. They're looking at, okay, you're warm. Now, the law is, under international law, forget about the Hague. That's the real law. All them nations agreed to only this, was already existing. Contracts and treaties. Now, cops stop me. Some of y'all want to have to tell y'all something. This is how you stop and say, listen here. I'm a Moor and also a British subject on a treaty. Did you know what you just did? You just took yourself on the supreme law of the land treaty, because in the treaty, the Crown say that the indigenous people got rights to travel.
Name the treaty.
Or go to the treaty camera, open it up, now go to the treaty. Walk in, the cop looking at them.
J treaty.
When you see this right here, you will say, what I'm doing going through this, because you don't know what to say. Excuse me, I don't want to talk to you. I'm a foreign national who's in a treaty with the United States and Great Britain. Therefore, I have due status as a Moor with Great Britain. The Crown had a treaty with the Emperor of Morocco. I also had a treaty with the Lenape Moors. Now, I'm going to explain something to you. Now, I'm going to go to the J Treaty. November the 19th, 1794.
Article 3, right?
I believe Article 3. Article 3. Anybody, can anybody see this? Can everybody see this?
Yes.
It is agreed, Article 3 of the J Treaty, it is agreed that it shall at all times be free to his majesty, subjects, and to the citizens of the United States. How come they call it? I'm going to say, they use the word America interchangeably in there. And I told Abdul sometimes that can favor us. Because if you use that word interchangeably in there, and I get a proper definition meaning of that word, then that means doesn't apply to this term here. It favored me. And you know that when they deal with British law, on that level, they deal with norms, positive law. They're not dealing with your made-up terms of the Supreme Court. That don't mean nothing to them. They're going on the original intent. Okay. United States, and also I want you to hear this, they're bringing in the sovereign now. See, the crown, his majesty recognized that before they even rose up, these people are majesty citizens, they're British citizens too, they're British subjects too. But the majesty acknowledged this, and also to the Indians dwelling on either side of the same boundary lines. You know what I mean? Why is the crown putting these people here? Because they decided. They were nations. It say Indians, not one. I mean more than one nation. Freely to pass and repass by land or inland, navigation. Navigation into the respective territories and countries of the two parties. Let me explain what that means. If I take my car or my ship or plane to Canada, Mexico, now Mexico is supposed to be part of us, but still, anywhere in his majesty or her majesty domain, that's Canada, that's up, and that's going down to South America, because they still got power. Anywhere in their rim, I can go in and out their territory and cross their borders without being molested with my own government credentials. I'm flying. I'm supposed to walk. Now, let me explain something to you. I'm flying. I walk into the airport. Show my ID. I show my passport. The United States is not going to honor it coming from me unless I send it to an agency and fill out a form and let them look at it and see that under treaty, I have a right. I'm going to tell you why. Somebody say, this is my land. Why I got to do it? That's not your vessel. You're looking just at the land. That's their vessel. You're trying to walk through their territory, which is nothing but jurisdiction, and go on one of their planes. That's their structure. They're looking at, get your own then. Well, you can walk to your own airport. That's how you look, get your own vessel. But there's a way around it. When this statement is made like this, who are you supposed to go to? When these people right here is not the one giving the commands, they giving the commands, they just the receiving citizen state. Well, who do you go to? The head. The head. I mean, individual, you go to them, the embassy. You go to the embassy and say, hey, we are a religious or spiritual organization, group, or society that is operating here on our land as being oppressed by the de facto activity of the United States under the War Powers Act. Therefore, we make this resolution. Now, watch this. Here, it's supposed to say this right here. Okay. Take go a form. Watch this. Fill this out. We'll get your passport. Why? Because we acknowledge you. Well, we reach the side of the boundary line. They're freely be passed. Somebody said, oh, we got to do that. Now watch this. You go, anytime a host of people is going to the United States and filling out an affidavit thing and getting a national ID, passport for the United States, see, I'm a national. I'm a national. Watch this. Now, your award.
Yeah.
Award. I'm going to give you that case later on where Justice Marshall said that. Your award. You're a national of another government. Does that mean you incorporated? You took yourself and voluntarily incorporated yourself as a nation, the same thing the Indians did with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Now tell me if it makes sense. Going to the head and saying, I'm of these Aboriginal, this is Indian Aboriginal people, who's not of this tribe. We are of this tribe and reserve our sovereignty, inherent power through our societies, our groups, and our organizations, which is our political structure. Do your government thing, have it still, send it to them, and then they say, okay, you go to form. Never did it, but that's that's basically, if you go to the United States to do it, why can't you go here and do it? What will make more sense? To them, you still respected in the treaty. To the United States, you're not. You incorporated, you gave it up.
Who's the majesty?
The majesty, his majesty, her majesty. It was different times. A queen ruled the rim, and so did a man.
Great Britain.
But Great Britain, right. We hear her majesty, that can mean Great Britain, or it can mean France, or it can mean Spain, it can be Sweden, it can be Dutch.
But in this treaty.
Or in this treaty, it's the majesty being Great Britain.
So how we go back to
Or England.
and explain something we being done wrong?
Well, see, this is what I'm saying. You got individuals, morals out there that's operating, but they don't understand this perception of a remedy. This is a structured remedy.
I'm gonna
So-
scroll it up so they can see the name of the treaty.
Right now, some people say, why would I want to go? We're putting together, we're coming back, according to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship say, we're coming back for our wastelands that was torn down, the estates. In order to give them back,
I need a second to get some air.
in order to get them back, we have to come together as a people. We have to come back to the nativity and the origin and stop fighting about, oh man, they ain't know how to sell over here. Oh man, they ain't know that. Let's stop the playing games. Rome was over here, Greece is over here. So if they know how to sell over here, how they got over here and conquer. Somebody please tell me. I want to know. I ain't talking about Spain. I'm talking about a European or a North Asian nation came over here and conquered. Roman Empire, the Greek Empire. They conquered over here. How did they get over here? They've been coming over here. They treat people twisted up in school so bad, it's pathetic. It's bad. And I'm keeping it real. If you're going to be operating individually, you better know what you're doing. It's dangerous now to be operating individually out there and not know this is. Now, some people say, oh, it don't mean nothing. Yes, it do. Because if you know how to talk the verbiage, even if you say, I don't know, you call the council. You do what you're going to do. I've been through that in North Carolina. Call the council office. Call the attorney general office. I don't want to talk to you. Nope. Now watch this. The treaties is for a reason. And like I said, when they go and confiscate your property and just take your car, they may let you walk away. I see later on what they take. They took your private property. Now I'm gonna teach you something. You gotta learn what I say here. That ain't your private property. What, Shem? I paid $10,000 for it. You did not. You promised to pay. They used the contract law on you. I'm gonna rub you tonight. And guess what? They're allowed to take, because when they pull the title out, it's in the name of the state. And you are nothing but a grantor. You don't even have title. And the title that you get when you say you buy it is a colorable title. Because it's not the manufacturer title when they go through the state. They took my private property, I'm a war. No, they didn't. It's not your private property. Do it say your name? They don't say it says the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, state of Delaware. If it was yours, it would say the Grand Light Church of God, Or it would say, the religion faith of the ancient Amun-Ra. Now watch this, I'm showing you something. That will be on the title. That means it will be yours.
Ecclesiastical.
You understand? Ecclesiastical monastery, absolutely. It will be your ecclesiastical title under your corporate soul. You say they took your private property. Show me. I bought that. I paid $30,000. No, you didn't. That's promise. You promised to pay. What real substance you gave for it? I'm being real. I'm talking about contract law. Real time. You gave colorable money, which is a fraud, and you pay, and you think they're going to give you something of value. I had an argument with a guy who argued me down the line, talking about, man, that ain't lying. Man, you can buy something. I said, brother, if you walk into the store, do you know about gold? I said, if you really know about gold, then you would be able to tell how much the pure percentage that gold is. You think you're going to be putting real substance in the market, you paying for confiscated, colorable money. If you're in that illusion, you can stand away. I can go here and have 30 silver gold coins and walk into a bank and put it in my account. You might get in some trouble. The IRS to your ass might go to jail. You can say a lot of things. Who's doing that? That's against the law. Do they got a license? Watch this. Do they got a license? That's what privileges are for. Permission. Brokers. License. Permission. She knows about this. She's an insurance company. Now watch this. Why do you think private bankers are very smart? Let me explain to you what I mean. So I'm going to teach you some financial stuff too. They'll take something, get it audited. How much is worth? That person's license. That's authenticated. Once they get that appraisal, they don't go to no public bank. You don't know what you do. They put it in a vault. After they do that, you know what they do next? Pull out a piece of paper and they write it as surety. You know why? They ain't never got to pay for nothing again. From that surety, they can create indemnity. That means everything. Something happened, they got a bond. Something happened, they got a bond. They go to someone to get that, they got a bond. They can take and write paper money, which is the Uniform Commercial Code called negotiable instruments. Our bill of exchange. I got a case I'm going to show you that. You're going to love this case. Go ahead.
We have an online question saying, so what is the remedy to ensure the car, C-A-R, is actually yours?
Okay, now we're getting somewhere now. You're talking about remedy. I go buy a car from you.
Private.
Private.
Yeah.
Private conveyance.
No, I'm just saying, I could be a dealership. I could have a dealership.
Oh, you got a dealership. I go to you and buy a car. Most of the time, dealership got the insurance thing there. They got the transfer title. Now watch this. You say, where's it going to be transferred to? The Amun-Ra spiritual faith of God. Listen to this. Where's it located at? It's located in, you give the original jurisdiction empire, the original everything, then you say, in care of so-and-so motor vehicles organization of our society. Now what just happened? And you give the box inside of District of Columbia. You keep one box, don't go inside the original jurisdiction, and the other address is just in the public, which your mail, where that title goes to. Now when that title goes out of there, it goes in the name of where it's going at, which is your society.
That's true. That's true.
Now, when it gets there, your motor vehicle organization prints it up on bond paper. You're supposed to get it then. It's stamped. It got the certificate. It left the state. It's out of their name. And you're supposed to put it as your trust and your schedule as collateral. Now it becomes private property of the holdings trust. So now when you driving your vehicle, down there is private conveyed. Somebody said, damn, how do I get taxed? Go back to the treaty. You go to a place that's licensed to make tax.
License?
You don't need nothing. The organization gave you out your operation and service card. You go somewhere, place to print tags like they do. This state got some place to print their tags. Now watch this. Now you got that on there. Now the other stuff. Now the cop stops you. Watch this. This is where he get in trouble now. He looks, he say, "Can I have your license stuff?" He said, "Excuse me, I'm a national of the land. I'm an Aboriginal, and all my rights is through treaty." Said, we don't have, this car is owned by it's my private property owned by so-and-so. Now what happens is, they get the piece of paper, watch this. They got a database. They say, "Oh, wait a minute, this car's not in the state. No state. It's not even in the United States. How the hell did it get here?" It's none of your business. It's here. And the title's in a rightful jurisdiction. I have title to the car, registration, and I have my tags. And I have my credentials to prove who I am. Now, I know what he's going to say. Say, but if you have a problem, let's say we don't have nothing set up, you can contact my priest who operates as my counsel under the treaty. Call him up, he go right with the address. Now, when he comes in there, he protected under international law. See, we're not set up that way. So you know what you got to do now? You got to take the language of this treaty, and the moment they make a claim against you, don't argue. Because remember, they about the insurance money. They shoot you dead, and that money goes to part of their pension. It goes up, it builds their portfolio up. It has their pension. They borrow. So what you have to do is sit back patient and say, "I don't want to talk to you. Anything you do is against the law. Don't say nothing." Now watch this. The moment you got to pay in court, I ain't got to do nothing. You get your paperwork ready, and you go right down into the federal court, that district, and file you a quo random, and challenge the authority of the county or the state or the code enforcement officer that's trying to operate as if they're the counsel under the treaty.
What's that writ called?
It's called a writ of quo random. Let me write it on the board. Of them. That means somebody's trying to hold office. That means there's somebody trying to hold office, a colorable office, they're trying to assert the authority as if they the counsel in this treaty. I mean, they're saying that they're trying to assert the authority like, "I'm not a national." And I'm going to tell you another thing. When you go into the courts and you file this, you better make sure you ain't got no plug outlets dealing with your paperwork. What I mean, I'm talking about something that's up in cyberspace. They can go right to it. Identity papers, everything, hit by that society. I want you to hear this. You ain't got no business appearing, but you don't have a counsel, so you got to appear. Because your counsel don't have to do this. They got an agency, your counsel, but I'm a letter rogatory. He's smart. If he know law, he said, "Where's the letter rogatory room at?" He filed a letter rogatory.
And the other boy.
I think we talked about it in the thing.
It's a rogatory. Now, letters of rogatory, Abdul read that, and I'm glad he did. That's international, that's dealing with international disputes. See, that's why, that's it. See, here, let's see, letter rogatories. Council, body politics, the council do a letter rogatory to the organization that's set up by the UN for all the member states or all other indigenous states that have a dispute. Now, if you operate individually, you would have to file a quo random. I tell people this right here. If I say you don't buy me a car, but they don't have authority to tell me I can't travel to Canada or travel to driver. Now I have to have a driver license. I'm free to pass. Who's saying this? That you got to have? The state. So you go file a quo random, put the attorney general on the state. And put the attorney general to answer for the state that covers all their agencies. Where's your power? Matter of fact, if you got money, You can put all the states on there. But here's the thing about it. When you put all the states on there, you got to file it in the United States District Court of Columbia. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I didn't file that complaint then. Because now all the states are party. The attorney generals will have to appear and show that authority.
That's not gonna help.
Yes.
It's, there's a online question of whether or not this covers the UK territory.
Now, to get somewhere, did I tell you about, I said earlier about the crown? People don't understand the crown can be your best friend. You know why? Because I'm not going to do it here. I have another document. It's called an International Agreement the United States entered into, I think it's 1901 and 1906, where they is called the Special Tribunal. The Special Tribunal.
The special tribunal?
Yeah, tribunal, that's right. Now, what happens is, they are the ones that settle disputes in the North American Pacific. That's here. So if you got a dispute and you operate the proper way, and you say, wait a minute, that's the address of that place? Oh, they could point there and bringing this in. You bring the J Treaty, go to the Treaty of Ghent. The Ghent Treaty. Go to the Ghent Treaty. Now I'm going to show you about guaranteeing rights. First, go to the Delaware Treaty, because I'm going to show you when you use the word. I said Abdul said Shem. You guarantee if I sign this treaty, give me the Lenape. And Abdul said if I let you do this right here, you got to guarantee me all my rights and all my royalties in this. I said okay. I signed it. You know what a guarantee means? Without question, without doubt, absolutely. This is mine, and I deserve it. By letting you come in like this, you have to do this right here. You got to perform that obligation. Now I'm going to show you the treaty. Let me use that. Excuse me.
You wanna write down the treaty, this treaty?
That treaty is,
Turn your mic on.
G-H-A-N-T, right? Oh, E. G-H-E-N-T.
Now, the letter of rogatory is a convention, which is a multilateral treaty. So there are member states that sign onto the letter of rogatory.
Abdullah, erase everything off the board and start fresh.
Oh, yeah, all right.
I'm supposed to put the quote orange on the line.
Treaty of 1778.
That's fancy.
The Lenin Treaty
Treaty.
of
That's right.
1778. The Leninakis.
1778.
Okay, this treaty here talks. I'm going to go on this treaty. It talks about show you when they lock. Let me explain something to you. What happened? These people are conniving in a vicious way, and these people went down there and said they're the Lenape Nation, and a seed and ascension to the United States through the agency, the Bureau of Indian Affairs. That's not the empire though. So if you say you're the Cherokee Nation, the tribe, but that's not the empire of the Cherokee Nation. So when you say you're the Cherokee Nation, you're only saying you one tribe in the Cherokee Empire. Listen to me. You got to use this language like that because they don't already try to cut us off. If you say you Cherokee more, what Cherokee Nation? Are you signed up with the tribe? You see what I'm saying? They're trying to cut you off. So she was no. I'm a nation in the empire of Cherokee, the Cherokee Empire. That means more than one nation. Now I'm using the grammar to stop you from thinking I'm just thinking that was just one nation, and that's the only way a person can be a Cherokee. No. That's why they ain't got no. Let me say something. If you see the Cherokee, one of these modern day natives, and I don't mean no harm, with a mixed Spaniard, which is called Mexico. You know, the Mexicans are aboriginals. They was conquered by King Philip, and he broke that down in his paperwork. They just started speaking a foreign language, and they started mingling with the changing of the bloods. So that's why some will look red, pale, some look tan like her, some dark like me. They don't call themselves white and black though. I'm showing you something. There's no hatred. So you have to understand, them your people. So you see how big that empire was? The Wichita of the body, that's the empire. She was an emperor. She was an empress of an empire. So when you use the language, say the Cherokee Empire. That means more than one nation. I don't know what this nation of the Cherokee Empire did. They gave up there, not us. Now, let me get to the treaty. I'm going to get the case and let you read this. Tamara, scroll down to the part that talks about the rights of writing. Article 3. Very important. This is what everybody's supposed to be into. When you get into this, commerce, commercial, development, construction, all that stuff, is ways, out the way. Give you free rights what you need if you know how to operate this. It say, Article 3 of the Delaware Treaty, as well, and whereas the United States are engaged in a just and necessary war in defense and support of life, liberty, and independency. Now, whoa. Independency. They said they had a just and necessity war in defense and support of their support. They ain't got this yet. They ran from this, they lost that. Against the King of England, and his inheritance. And as said king is yet possessing of 7 ports and forts on the lake and other places, the reduction of which is a great importance to the peace and security of the contracting parties, and as the most practicable way for the troops of the United States to some of the posts and forts is by the passing through the country of the Delaware nation. The Delaware nation. The foresaid deputies, on behalf of themselves and their nation, do hereby stipulate and agree to give a free passage. Oh, wait a minute, God Almighty. They said they giving them something. That's a grant. Why the United States didn't tell them that they got a grant from the Lenape country, the nation? Now, you know why they ignore this treaty? Because these so-called people that call themselves the Delaware Nation went down there, incorporated, and ascend and relinquished their rights. That's to cut you off. You come with some of that, there's no difference. The Delaware Nation, how many tribes? The Delaware King, the Delaware Empire. It's more than one nation. That one nation, you tell me, them people down there, as a matter of fact, they would walk out of here on feet. From all the way top of Canada, all the way down to Florida, that's how far they was big. Shaker Mexon, Lenahokie, Susquehanna. They was walked out into, I think it's called Arizona, what's that? Arizona and, what's the name? No, the one, Oklahoma. The Trail, that's right. The deputies on behalf of themselves and their nation and do hereby stipulate agree to give the free passing through their country to their troops. You see why they got them out of here? Shit, they get away from this. We got to expel you out of here. And watch this, I'm gonna tell you why they expelled them. Troops are foreseen and the same to conduct by the nearest and best way to the post forts and the towns of the enemy of the United States. Affording to said troops such supplies of corn, meat, horse, and whatsoever may be in their power for the accommodation of such troops on the commanding officers of their power for the accommodation of such troops on the commanding officers paying or engaging to pay the full value of whatsoever they can supply them with, period, and the same deputies on the behalf of their nation engaged to join the troops of the United States. Now listen to this. We winning your war for you. We winning your war for you. You can't even win a war. Oh, we fought overthrow. We didn't overthrow Great Britain. We took care of you. Our ancestors took care of you. They go to language right here. There's no lie. This is the language. We took care of you. Let me get back to our mission. Commanding officer, the deputies that we have engaged to join themselves with the United States forces with such members of their best and most experienced warriors as they can spare, consisting with their own safety and acts in concert with them, and for the better security of the old men, women, and children of the foresaid nation. Well, their warriors are engaged against the common enemy. It is agreed on the part of the United States that a fort of sufficient strength and capacity be built at the expense of the said state, which such assistance as it may be, advantages situations as shall be agreed on by the commanding officers of the troops aforesaid, with the advice of the concurrent of the deputies. And this is what this saying. She didn't say the concurrent. The advice and concurrent of the deputies of the aforesaid Delaware nation, which fort shall be garnished by such a number of troops of the United States as the commanding officer can spare for the present, and hereinafter by such members as the wise men of the United States in council. And what do you think? They say Congress right here. They use the word Congress. They look at it as a council. Just a gathering of people. They never say Congress in here.
No.
They say later on, they refer to them as council. Then later on, they may call them a Congress. We never know. They might have switched that word. They might have switched it. Shall think most conductive to the common good for the better security of the peace and friendship now entered into by the contracting parties against all the infractions of the same by the citizens of either party. To the presence of the other, neither party shall proceed to the inflict or punishment on the citizens of the other. Now we stop right there. What they doing to you? What they doing to you when they take your card and throw you down and put their foot in your head? What do when they knock you out? What do when they keep your door, knowing your status and do that? They inflict your punishment on you.
Inflictions of punishment.
On the citizens of the other. Otherwise, then, by securing the offender or offenders by a punishment or any other competent means. What? Now, this is the part I want to get you about how to get jurisdiction. You don't know this. To a fair and impartial trial can be had by judges or juries of both parties. Stop right there. You can't give me no grand jury of your Constitution. They're not a jury of judges of mine. They're not a jury of judges of mine. This say by judges and juries of both parties, as near as can be to the law, customs, and savages of the contracting parties, and natural justice. They're going back. We're going back now. What's the natural justice? What was already established by our people. The mode of such trial to be hereafter fixed by the wise men of the United States and Congress. They do what Congress did. Assembly, with the assistance, listen to this, with the assistance of the deputies of the Delaware Nation. I'm going to tell you what they did. Oh, the Delaware Nation is part of Bureau of Indian Affairs. We're not going to come to the White House every time. Treaty ain't got no force now. Because they incorporated themselves out of this position. But that's not the Delaware Nation. Now you see why it's important that we have to get these treaties. And I'm going to tell her later on what to do, how to order these treaties. Order them, see, they have to be ordered by us and certified from us as the heirs, descents, kinsmanship, and blood DNA, which is called nativity and origin of these people. When we certify them and offer them to the national body, you don't want to sit there and burn the affairs? That's on you. I'm sorry. You ain't got no rights. You just like the state. You are an enemy of the state. When Roosevelt signed that and said all United States citizens are enemies of the state. Now, Indians that registered and bury their affairs are citizens of the United States, the enemy of the new government. That's why every time they want to do pollution to the land, they drag them out of their high ground. You wrong! Your hair power gone. You wrong! They drop them out and kicking them in their face. Do them like a dog, knocking them out. Then take and put a pipeline through them and dig it all up. And guess what? They got a corporation guy come to the billionaire. Get these assholes out of the way. Throw them back the way. You know why? They're not sorry. You know how they do it? Anytime they want to build something, they can have 53,000 acres. We're going to take 30 of it. Then build a township and have a mayor, police, then the police locking it behind up again. You know why that's happening? You getting punished, you cursed, you getting punished for what you did to the people. You should have did that. Now, Abdullah, right. You know why they did it? Because the United States write them grants. Our kids don't have to go to school, pay for nothing, college. We down here getting welfare. I think women get $60,000 a month. Look at y'all. Y'all down here, y'all daughters and sons selling water. I'm keeping it real. Y'all stay in the food stamp line. We run our own food systems. We grow our own food. Ha 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 ha. They not lying. Look at us. We get a grant now. They can do that because Cosmo's moving now. They say, nah, we're going to straighten this out. It was already put in the divinity when it went into the woman. All they had to do is work his will up to maturity, and we're going to act. We got this now. Because ain't nothing the natural control of divinity at all. Nothing. We running this, we shifting the conveyance back to where it's supposed to be. That's why they killed Pastor Darby. Pastor Darby told the truth for him. Stop playing with the people. You in Moab now, and you in Israel right now. This whole continent belongs to them. Kill him. You know you're supposed to do that. You secret side. Get rid of him and poison him. You told the people the truth. They right in Israel. They ain't Moab. That's their land. You told them the truth. That map, you said you told me the truth. That map is a lie. You know what? I was told a long time ago that map was a lie. But that's what they teach. See, the truth hurts. I'm sorry. It hurts us, and it hurts her people too. You know why? Because a lot of her people like her said, why are you talking about white? I don't understand. If we both get cut, we all bleed. If you sucker punch me in my eye, I'm going to do damage in my eye. You punch me in the eye, they got damage to their physical vessel. But you have to understand, they're playing a game. That's a con game they're playing. That didn't come up until the late 18th century, black and white, Negro. They call us Negroes because that's to take your inheritance away. And then turn around, when they came from the Civil War, they went down, they claimed to be these people right here, Delaware Indians and all, Cherokee. That's who they claim to be. But they was told to do that. You come back from a war, you want some money? Go down and roll yourself and say you an Indian, and what we'll do is, watch this. Then they was able to monetize the land now. Write bonds. Oh, we love this. You can write bonds now. You know why? Because the D. George president got assassinated. A Moor. Lincoln. A Moor. He's touring Europe. He's Bernstein. I'm sorry to say he got melon. The man had got melon. If you think I'm lying, go back and look at some of the article papers. They said a Negro president. You ain't called a Negro unless you had what? Melon and you was a Moor. And he looked over. Most people want to hear this. When you hear the word slave in a proclamation, I ain't just talking about melanated people either. Let me explain to you. I'm going to see some whole history. They hide this. When Rome conquered over here, Rome conquered France, Rome conquered England, Norway, Iceland, Poland, Ireland, all these nations were conquered. There was a mixture of nation and nation. It was pale and melanated people. Watch this. In the Roman Empire, a melanated man could have a pale slave fighting in the arena for them. Why? Because they were considered wealthy. One of the Roman citizens. They conquered. So you see what I'm saying? Melanin don't mean nothing when it comes down to servitude. But that slave, that word is used connotatively. If it used now be fair to say, Lincoln was freeing who? Them Europeans that was being held in servitude. They didn't tell you that Moors and Indians had Europeans in servitude as subjects? Or they hid that part, huh? Yes. Read some of the treaties.
White cargo.
Read some of the treaties. The treaties don't lie. I don't have a whole lot of time, but I'll tell you this right here. Anytime something going on for a long time, and we find ourselves in a worse of a predicament, that means it's not working. We have to get our government structure established now because we have to protect people like Abdul, commit to you. Let them be able to be secure and protected fully when they teach the science and the art of words and language. So we have to get structure together because pretty soon they're going to have it. When you talk this, they're going to stick your own people in you because your people are going to turn on you first. I'll be honest, the European countries, they ain't against this. It's the people over here. So I want to get to the, I'll go down to the camera, go to the part, yeah, that's the part, I'm going to the part with the guarantee of the land. Scroll down a little further, I'm going to get to the guarantee of the land. But I believe that's Article 6.
Okay.
Whereas the enemy of the United States have endeavored by every artifice in their power to possess the Indians in general with an opinion. Now, you hear this right here? What do the courts issue out?
An opinion?
Hold up. What do the courts issue out? What do people speak when they want to take something from you? They always give an opinion on you.
In my opinion.
And watch this. Some of these people wasn't smart. That it is the design of the states aforesaid to expatriate the Indians and take possession of their country. This is what it said. It said that it is the design of the states aforesaid. Now, you have to understand, they talk about the states when it was under the crown. When the states was under the crown, it was killing Indians trying to take their land. To expatriate the Indians and take possession of their country. Aggravate such false suggestions, the United States do engage to what? Guarantee to the foresaid nation, the Delaware, and their heirs, or the word heirs in it, all their territory, rights, in the fullest and most assent manner, as it had been bound by former, oh God, you almighty know. When you say former treaties, you're talking about before the United States came into existence. They use the word former. That means they're talking about the treaties of what? The crown, with England. And, because remember, there was no United States. I'm keeping it real. There was no United States. Why would they say former treaties? What are they talking about? The crown. Bound by, listen to this, their territory, rights, in the fullest and most exempt manner as it had been bound by former treaty. What you mean? The crown told you can't take their land. Now go to the Gans Treaty. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. They try to make it run for their land. Look what the crown said. That's why the crown said in the J Treaty, through the Sarvin in there. So they said, go down and arrest her and say you the Delaware nation so you can go into the Bureau of Indian Affairs so we can cooperate you, so you'll send and you'll cede to us and relinquish your rights. And now the United States got the legislative jurisdiction. Now the treaty don't mean nothing.
You said again?
get a Gans Treaty. I'm gonna let you read this time so I get through this real fast. I'm gonna tell you what the Crown say about guaranteeing our rights.
With the mic.
See, what I'm doing is, I want to get the grand sheiks, the ministers of the churches, the imams of the mosques, and bring them all together. Anytime they can have a 1,000,000-man march, what people they say black, they got no status, and nothing came out of it, no government, no your own town, your own land back, no intercourse with other nations. You mean tell me people can do that, and we can't come together and do something positive? You know why? Darkness in people. You see the part that's highlighted, just scroll down. You all right?
This is the treaty.
This is the Treaty of Gan of 1814.
Yes. I do believe I highlighted that part. It should be highlighted. There you go. There you go, Tamara. There we go. Now we're going to see. We're going to hear something now.
Article 7. It is further agreed that the said two last mentioned commissioners, after they shall have executed the duties assigned to them in the preceding article, shall be, and they are hereby authorized upon their oaths impartially to fix and determine according to the true intent of the said treaty of peace of 1783, that part of the boundary between the dominions of the two powers, which extends from the water communication between Lake Huron and Lake Superior to the most northwestern point of the Lake of the Woods, to decide to which of the two parties the several islands lying in the lakes, water communication, and rivers forming the said boundary do respectively belong in conformity with the true intent of the said treaty of peace of 1783, and to cause each part of the said boundary as required to be surveyed and marked. The said commissioners shall by report or declaration under their hands and seal designate the boundary as for said, state their decision on the points thus referred to them, and particularize the latitude and longitude of the most northwestern point of the Lake of the Woods, and of such other parts of the said boundary as they may deem proper. And both parties agree to consider such designation and decisions as final and conclusive, and in the event of the said two commissioners deferring or both commissioners deferring or both or either of them refusing, declining, or willfully omitting to act, such reports, declarations, or statements shall be made by them or either of them, and such reference to a friendly sovereign or state shall be made in all respects as in the latter part of the fourth article is contained, and in as full a manner as if the same was herein revealed.
Go down. Keep going down to another paragraph highlighted. They describing the boundary now. Here we go. Now we coming here.
9th article. Article the 9th. The United States of America engaged to put an end immediately after the ratification of the present treaty to hostilities with all the tribes or nations or Indians with whom they may be at war at the time of such ratification, and act forthwith to restore to such tribes or nations respectively all the possessions, rights, and privileges which they may have enjoyed or been entitled to in 1811 previous to such hostilities, provided always that such tribes or nations shall agree to desist from all hostilities against the United States of America, their citizens and subjects, upon the ratification of the present treaty, being notified to such tribes or nations, and shall so decide accordingly. And His Britannic Majesty engages on his part to put an end immediately after the ratification of the present treaty to hostilities with all the tribes or nations of Indians with whom he may be at war at the time of such ratification, and with forth to restore to such tribes or nations respectively all the possessions, rights, and privileges which they may have enjoyed of being entitled to in 1811 previous to such hostilities, provided always that such tribes or nations shall agree to desist from all hostilities against His Britannic and His Majesty upon the ratification of the present treaty, being notified to such tribes or nations, and shall so desist accordingly.
Now, let me explain something. When it say 1811, the reason why I went back to 1811 because a lot of the rights, the United States have been violating treaties and been taking political jurisdiction from the native people. And the reason why this treaty was made because they went back to another war. The British went against them. And we was fighting with the British. That's why the British say all hostile stop. Because we was fighting both the kingdom, the empire of England, and we was fighting the United States. You know, we was bad. So you can see how we messed up. We going against each other. We was fighting both of them. But our ancestors had enough power to say, hey, this is how it's going to be. And England agreed. So your rights is embodied right in front of your face. You just have to claim them. And you operating individually, but what are you going to get? You got to walk into their vessel, know what to say, what paperwork, that's dangerous. Rather than a council operating on international law and a high principle in the treaty contract coming in there for you. Like I say, I would like to meet with all the grand chiefs. Anytime they get 1 million people to come together, nothing happens. Just for all of them to walk away, I'm doing all money, I'm doing this. And you still ain't got no intercourse, no caucus, no government, no agency, no intercourse, no relationship. And you tell me you can't get your people, your congregation, you emails, you preachers, and you priests and ministers. What's wrong with y'all? They got these big congregations, these people living like this. You know what? Do you know what kind of power is in unity and love? Honor, love, and peace. You know what unity is in that? You can't kill that. That comes from the special realm. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to keep playing around, and it's going to be, it's going to be ready for the people to come. The people are going to have to get this anyway. If you can't get it, then that means there got to be intervention. When that intervention happens, chaos on the earth. Because that's when the galactic rim, the celestial rim steps in and says, we're going to have the problem. Right. They're going to come in. You're going to have, call it jelly beans, right down here, straighten the matter out. So I'll straighten it out. We'll take care of it. But you got to understand, we're doing the right thing now. We operating. I'll go back into this later on. I'll go back into this is your rights for disputes. This treaty talks about disputes. I'll go into that later on. But the main thing is this right here. It ain't no time to be arguing with each other. From up Canada, all the way down to Mexico and down South America, ain't no indigenous group trying to put together a constitution or caucus trying to do anything. To go to the world body, navigate your vessel to the proper place. Everybody doing it. And if you're talking about doing banking and commerce, you ain't never claimed your body. Did you ever tell anybody his body belonged to you? That brother spoke the truth right there. He said, man, I'm a divinity in this body. He spoke the truth. You running around telling me you're doing all this contract and you didn't even claim your body. All I can say is, come together, put this together, come a part of this, what we doing, and let us show you the way. Come aboard, don't argue, fight, let's work in unity. Ain't nobody against nobody. Let's all work in unity. Everybody, we all come from the same nativity and the same origin. Let's work together. White man, black man, don't mean nothing to me. I know the history that's a game. That's a con game. I thank you very much. Honor, peace, and love.